Community powered.
Hold on 1 second.
Hey folks, we're going to get started in just a minute here. Bear with us.
Northeast Organic Farming Association is dedicated to supporting organic food and agriculture in New Jersey through education, technical assistance, and policy action. Each year, we raise funds to support the annual winter conference, weekly and monthly educational programming, technical assistance and farmer mentoring, and scholarships for students and beginning farmers. This year, your generous donations have made all of this possible. amount is helpful, you can learn more and donate at NOFA-NJ.org.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us at NOFA New Jersey's annual meeting. I need Tony to remind me where to look. Right ahead?
Right ahead.
I'll let you
Look
know that
forward.
Tony is the maestro behind all this technology. I would be nothing without him. It's crazy. It's been another year already. 1 year down, back at our annual meeting. And while Tony and I often bring everybody the updates, I want our community to get to know our team. This is Tony. I'm Devin.
Hey, what's up, everyone? So we're in a moment, we're going to introduce some of our staff and board members. Some of you don't know all of those folks, some of you do. And if you don't already, you should know them because they are board members, because they are a wealth of information. They've been through so much already and are really going to help us continue to lead the following generations ahead. So with that said.
So we'll do some brief intros, and I'll start with our executive committee, our board president, Mike Rasweiler. Mike, you want to give us a quick 1-2 about who you are and what brought you to NOFA?
Sure. My name is Mike Rasweiler. I'm the owner operator of North Slope Farm in South Hunterdon County, New Jersey. A longtime supporter of NOFA New Jersey. Let's see, I first started working on a farm at Al Johnson, who's also on our board. He was working at the watershed. He was running the Watershed Organic Farm at the time. And so it's, certified organic, being involved in producing food has been a top priority for me pretty much all my adult life. And I'm pleased to be a member of the board and be a part of this exciting time.
Well, really glad you're with us, Mike. Speaking of Al Johnson, our vice president, Al, do you want to hop on and just introduce yourself? If Al is there, he may have stepped away.
Al,
There he is.
we don't have your.
Yeah, I'm muted. Okay, sorry. Yeah, Al Johnson, Vice President of NOFA New Jersey, and I've been with NOFA for a really long time, since the 1970s. Predated NOFA New Jersey, actually. And I currently, I farmed organically for 12 years. I've been an organic inspector for the last 34. And I'm currently also chair of the education committee.
Wicked. And that education committee is getting busy this year. Moving on, Stephanie Harris, our secretary.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Harris. I run Stonehenge Farm in Hopewell, New Jersey. I love farming. I love growing food, and I've been doing it for over 50 years. When I started in New Jersey, we decided to try to get organic farmers a sense of community. And this was back in 1984. And there were very few organic farmers at that time. And so we decided to create an organization that was a chapter of the larger NOFA. And I've been with the organization ever since. So I sometimes serve as the local historian, even though my memory is not great.
Well, your memory's been pretty clutch my time here so far, so thank you for being with us. And Kim, if you're with us, Kim Risk. Kim, are you there? Yeah. You're muted.
There we go. Unmute myself helps, right? So I'm Kim Risk, and I am not a farmer, but I did grow up on a farm in Bucks County. And that's where my love of food originally began. I don't have a green thumb, but I really, really appreciate and support the local farmers. What I do love is great, fresh, organic food. And I'm co-owner of a restaurant here in Princeton, and all of the farmers in New Jersey, the organic farmers that we have had the good fortune to develop relationships with, really help support our restaurant. And we are so, so appreciative. So I feel honored to be on the board to help support this organization and organic growing in New Jersey. And it's a great organization. I've learned so much and I've met so many great people, and we do so many fun things that it's just it's great. It's just a great organization. So you're out there and you're thinking about it, contribute, get involved. NOFA New Jersey is a wonderful group of people.
Thanks for keeping us fed, Kim. If you're at the winter conference, you had some of that awesome jam and crepes food. Up next, Tomia McQueen. You on board with us, Tomia? Yeah.
I am Tamia McQueen. I am the owner operator, along with my family, of Wildflower Farm in Pennington, New Jersey. I am also an educator of, I've stopped counting how many years because I'm start telling myself. And we do a number of educational classes, and oh, the chicks stopped chirping as soon as I turn my mute off. That's great. They're being very kind. So we do poultry, soy-free poultry and grass-fed lamb, in addition to educating people, particularly on transferring from city to country and homestead symbiosis. And so, you know, what brought me to NOFA is really, I have a real deep passion for dealing with issues of food insecurity, and literally just teaching people how to feed themselves. And being with NOFA has been an amazing part of that journey. So that's been really wonderful.
Awesome. Well, Tamia's starting to teach our next Exploring the Small Farm Dream course starting tomorrow night. Really excited. Nate Kleinman.
Hey, everybody. My name is Nate Kleinman. I have a bad cold right now, so I don't usually sound like this. I'm the co-director of the Experimental Farm Network, which is a nonprofit that is legally based in Philadelphia, but I live and farm in Salem County in South Jersey. I've been on the education committee for many years and joined the board a few years ago. I have been, this is going to be my 10th year farming in New Jersey, which is hard to believe. It feels like I just started. But I think I'm one of the only people in New Jersey who's growing seeds. And I do a lot of food sovereignty work and community work, and have tried to bring that work into NOFA since I started doing this. And I'm currently surrounded by seeds, working on a big lentil grow out this year. That's doing a big lentil trial. Really happy to be here.
Wicked. Well,
What a doll. Did you get it? There's a lentil joke. What a doll.
Thank you. Thank you.
all right, Ariana.
Hi, I'm Ariana Lindberg. I am currently teaching in the Department of Landscape Architecture at Rutgers University, and I'm not currently farming. I've dabbled in it here and there, but I said yes to joining the board because I care very deeply about the way we feed ourselves, and that is reflected in all of the farmers who we work with, from cultivation practices to labor practices to distribution. And so I'm really pleased to be part of this fabulous network.
We're so glad you're with us. Our policy champion, Callie Alexander.
Oh God, Devin. Clearly it's all salted with humor. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for attending. Callie Alexander. I completed a 35-year career as a licensed environmental scientist, a licensed health officer, and went on to the state to finish up as a program administrator. Immediately upon completing my career 7 years ago, I am happily scooped up as a NOFA New Jersey board member, bearing my experience with government and the frustrations of government. Of course, one of my finer aspects during the state tenure was to oversee the shellfish and seafood industry. And they got me. And I really do believe that you can get more done by policy than by regulation. And I continue in that realm for our organic growers, our organic community, our regenerative community. I'm inspired by non-generational, next generation farmers. As a a passion and a drive. I continue with policy work here. I additionally serve on the board of the Agricultural Justice Project. That is an add-on label having to do with fairness to farm workers, as well as, of course, paying a fair labor. And additionally to that, I'm an avid volunteer with Local Share under the umbrella of the Food Shed Alliance that is headquartered in Blairstown, New Jersey, where we actively glean, harvest. We'll pick it up. If you have excess at your farm, we will pick it up. And we serve many pantries up in the Sussex, Warren, and of course, Hunterdon area. So again, a devoted organic gardener, as well as the best part, a goat farmer. Thank you so much.
You're bringing the heat, Callie. Really glad to have you. Jackie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Ricotta, and I'm a professor at Delaware Valley University in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And I have a doctorate in horticulture. And although I haven't farmed, I've worked in farming and vegetable production for a really long time. And in 2012, started the Organic Farming Certificate Program at Del Valle, along with the Rodale Institute. And that is a program that still exists today. And we actually have one of the only organic livestock management courses in the whole country in that program. So I'm really committed to organics. Have taught classes in organics, and most recently worked with NOFA-New Jersey and the other NOFAs on our human capacity building project to design courses to train new organic inspectors. So that was a really great project to work on, and I'm happy to contribute whatever I can to the board.
Awesome. Well, you're contributing a lot. Really excited to welcome onto our board this year, Meredith Melendez. Meredith, you want to say a little?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So I'm Meredith Melendez, and I am a county agricultural agent in Mercer County with Rutgers Cooperative Extension. My job description makes it obvious as to why I should be, why I have participated with NOFA for so long, but why it's about time I got on the board. So I focus on vegetable production, alternative agriculture, which Rutgers puts organic in, beginning farmer resources, and I spend a lot of my time working on fresh produce safety statewide, which is great because it gets me on lots of organic farms statewide as part of that food safety outreach. I think Jess figured out this might be the 10th year that I've participated with the Small Farm Dream class, and I have to check on that, but it just blew my mind that it had been that long. It didn't feel like I had showed up that many times, so that's great. And for me, it made a lot of sense to come onto the board to facilitate communication between Extension and NOFA, and to bring back needs of this community to Extension, as well as inform NOFA about the resources that have already been developed or that are being developed as part of Extension responsibilities for a whole host of people. So it's great to be here.
So we're getting closer to Rutgers because we need Rutgers now more than ever. And we're really glad
we need you guys too. So it works.
Symbiosis. So that's our board. Let's just round out the staff. So Tony and myself.
You guys know us.
You're tired of us, aren't you? How about Sean? You want to say a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi. I'm Sean Riley. I'm the finance manager for the organization, and that's just a fancy way to say bookkeeper. But I do all the bookkeeping and financial management, and I like to think of my role within the organization to provide Devin and the board with the important information that they need to make good decisions for the organization. And I started working with NOFA back right in the heart of the pandemic in 2020. So it's been just over 3 years to the day here. And I joined because I just wanted to have a bigger impact on the world of food. My day job is in the restaurant industry. And I just wanted to see things change for the folks that grow our food, and especially for the folks that prepare and serve all the food that we eat every day. So.
Sean, you provide clarity and sanity. Seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Behind the scenes to the whole winter conference, Lynn Flannery.
Hi, I'm Lynn Flannery. So I'm not a farmer, but I think that healthy, nutritious food is so important. And I would like to see the preservation of a local New Jersey food system, organic farming, and a fair and equitable food system where everybody has access to healthy food. And I am the NOFA New Jersey outreach coordinator. I've worked on the winter conference this past year and will continue to work on reaching out to the community to build partnerships to support the efforts of NOFA. I have a background in fundraising and development, currently working with Ronald McDonald House of Central and North Jersey. And if anybody on the call at this meeting would like to sponsor, support, or partner with NOFA in any way to further the efforts of the organic agriculture, please contact either Devin or myself. Thanks.
Thank you, Lynn.
You're muted, Devin. Yeah, not getting it. There, but that's it.
All right, we got some kind of signal now, right?
Yep, you're on.
Not as good as last one. So Devin's gonna wake his back up. He accidentally signed out on his computer, which was our microphone.
I didn't sign that. Kick me out.
Oh, I kicked him out now. That's fun.
Can they hear us?
Yeah. So what we're gonna actually do, the winter conference this year was exceptional. For those of you who were lucky enough to make it there, awesome turnout, really great reviews for weeks afterwards. We were feeling the ripples. Everybody kept saying how awesome it was. For those of you who haven't seen already, we had released a bunch of videos on YouTube, one with Jeff Moyer from Rodale, one with Jess Niederer, and something we haven't released just yet, which we're about to show you guys first. We didn't show anyone else.
Recording in progress.
Good. You're gonna be the first people. Sorry, I was gonna embrace the echo. I'm gonna turn my mic off and we'll go back to yours.
Good.
Oh, hey, we're back. Hey, how are you? Okay, so we're gonna show you guys first. You get first view of just to kind of wrap up that we're gonna help use to motivate people to come next year. Here it goes.
Good job, Tony. Wicked job.
All right.
Fantastic job, Tony.
Oh, thank you.
Very cool.
What was your favorite part of the whole event?
So I guess my favorite part, besides the food, because I like to eat food. That's really why I'm involved with farming, is because I like to
Why
eat.
we do this.
But I loved how many people we had. I go for people's hearts. That's what I go for. And there were a lot of hearts there, a lot of heads there. So I was just stoked that we got to impact that many people.
Yeah,
That's
it was
what I
awesome.
liked.
I love Tony in the trees. That was one way to send it
Oh,
off.
well, sorry if it was too loud for anybody, but
We're working on it. All right, so moving along, we're going to just take an exploratory winding course through, some highlights of this past year, what we're looking forward to in the year ahead. And we'll start off with our Journey Person Mentorship Program, which, we try to support beginning farmers as they're making that transition from just getting on with ownership to being a thriving, successful, profitable farmer. And, it's a really great program. Mike Rasweiler has been the driving force behind it. So Mike, can you tell me about the Journey Person program for folks that aren't aware, and maybe some of the highlights from this past year and some of the more memorable moments?
Any chance you could pull up our NOFA-NJ.org Journey
yeah.
Person page?
on its way.
We're working on it.
So one of the things that we've done at NOFA New Jersey over the last bunch of years is invest in our website. So if you're ever looking for any kind of information about organic in New Jersey, I encourage you to go to NOFA-NJ.org. And one of the drop-down menus is programs, I want to say. The Journey Person program is one of our sort of flagship programs, I'd say. And so NOFA New Jersey Journey Person program is built on the principle that beginning farmers need to be recognized and supported. The program by which we do that has changed somewhat over time, but what our NOFA New Jersey Journey Person page describes is a good representation of the criteria we hope to sustain. It is our hope at NOFA New Jersey to at least identify 3 New Jersey farmers with at least 2 years of experience each year as Journey Persons. They need to have a commitment to long-term farming enterprise in New Jersey. And another piece is they need to have solid access to land. These farmers have been and will be paired with experienced farmer mentors with appropriate experience and interests to support our future farmers over the course of a year. The job of NOFA New Jersey in facilitating the mentoring of future farmers of New Jersey is to concretely identify strengths and challenges of each year's cohort of farmers, to help us at NOFA extrapolate what we can focus on as an organization to stay up to date and relevant to the constantly evolving farmer base. This year's Journey Persons demonstrate classic strengths: perseverance despite difficulty. To quote one mentor, farmers are nothing if not beset by challenges. So perseverance is key. Also, a profound desire to gather information and learn more about how to farm well. Continuing education is highly valued. Some identified challenges are remaining challenges that we've heard and discussed before. They have not disappeared. They're still with us. And we see that in this past year's cohort. One challenge: access to land and farming resources. Another challenge is the ability and support to implement technical advice and opportunities. And finally, the capital and support to implement enterprise investment and development, including facilities improvements. Donations to NOFA New Jersey addresses these concerns, and we appreciate our community's support. Please check out the Journey Person page to learn more, to see past Journey Persons, to learn how to apply. And don't hesitate to reach out to Devin as Executive Director of NOFA New Jersey to learn more about how to participate in the program. We're always looking for mentors. We're always looking for Journey Persons. And tonight you're going to hear about exciting opportunities that are developing in the regional community to support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. One challenge with mentoring and the Journey Person program in particular is our organization's in one spot. The farmers' needs are so rapidly evolving, and especially after the last handful of years, the whole landscape has changed. And I'm really excited, and you alluded to what we'll hear about a little bit later on, but it seems like there's finally a convergence of capacity and an understanding of what our beginning farmers need. And, I'm really looking forward to this year and the next handful of years as we continue to build up that Journey Person program. So moving ahead, one major part of NOFA New Jersey is the Education Committee. It's what plans our farm tours and workshops. It's what executes our farm tours and workshops. And the chair of the Education Committee, Al Johnson. Al, can you talk about some highlights from last year, what you're looking forward to this year? We're definitely going to share that preview that schedule, right, Tony?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. We at the Education Committee, we primarily focused at the beginning of the year on providing good on-farm and on-garden workshops for our members and for the general public. And I think we moved in a little bit in the direction last year, which we'd like to continue moving. It's trying to make the social event, trying to have food go along with things. And we got a couple plans for a couple things going this year, which will definitely include some food. But it creates a whole social aspect as well as educational aspect, which is really building to our community. I think the workshops we had last spring, summer, fall last year were well received. We had good attendance at each one, and I think people came back from good. With a good feeling. Do you guys have the this year's schedule up there? Yeah. So while you're doing that, or I can share my screen too if you want. But we're completely. Actually, Devin, let me pull up mine. I get a little bit more succinct.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Let's share. Okay, probably is a little bit, as I say, it's a little more succinct. We have a pretty good lineup, I think, this year of on-farm workshops. I'm not going to go through each one. I will say they start this Thursday with a virtual marketing through add-on certifications, which include the Real Organic Project and Rodale's Organic Regenerative Certification. Specialty mushrooms coming up in Hillsborough, and there's a brew pub or something to that effect restaurant next door that uses these mushrooms. So we're hoping that we can all end up there with some special time. So that's a really good example of creating that link between food, which is what we're all about, and farming. And so we've got a Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we've got a few gardening programs coming up too this year, which we've been experimenting with the last few years. An annual organic gardening course, which is going to be in Sussex County in Newton. We're going to try fencing for gardeners down in Gloucester County. And then we're also going to try something new, which is the Garden Doctor, a monthly virtual gathering. We hope of people that are interested in just keeping up with the current things in gardening. We're a volunteer committee. We've got some really new blood this year, which has been really exciting, because I think with the last few years with so many things happening virtually, we kind of we lost our way a little bit as far as being attracting volunteers, because there's so much happening online. But again, we have new blood, and we're taking things forward. We will also present the program for our annual Festimato, am I saying that? Festimato, sorry. In August, there's always an educational event with that. And then by about that time, we start morphing into what I call is the Winter Conference Committee. Basically, it's the same committee, just takes on a new identity with a little bit new direction and leadership. So yeah, I hope to see as many of you as possible at some of these workshops. And we hope we have a good time, and some of them will have food involved too.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, Al. It's all about building community through food. I think last year, the highlight might be a toss-up between the tour at Tessa and Tamiya's, where we ended with the potluck, and the chicken processing workshop.
Yeah, I would agree. Tamia has a huge deck. And we fit everybody there. We had a really nice. It wasn't really a potluck. Some of us just made food, but it was so good having that social event after the educational event. So thank you, Tamia, for hosting us for that.
I can't wait for the season of events. Moving on, and kind of in the background is policy efforts and advocacy for our farmers, for our food system. And what I found over the last year is that the policy work actually brings so much else to the table, including partners, funding, opportunities to get out there in the field and learn more from our growers, which informs our programming. And I'd like to welcome our policy committee chair, Callie Alexander, now to give us a brief update about what's been going on and some really exciting news. Great opportunity for our organic community.
Thank you again, and I'm honored to be in this round. As a reminder and to be helpful to all, I wanted to, of course, touch on that NOFA New Jersey is one of 7 chapters in the Northeast. We have monthly meetings of something called the Interstate Council, which is the 7 chapters coming together. And in addition, we have monthly meetings of the Interstate Policy Committee. And we really discuss and result in actions on the Farm Bill and the marker bills within, and as well as addressing and advocating through important sign-on letters and numerous other activities. So as the 7 chapters of NOFAs, we really talk to each other on a regular basis, 2 to 3 times a month, actively supporting each other, and of course, supporting our farming communities. Last year, NOFA New Jersey did hold a Farm Bill event at a farm in South Central Jersey, and we did collect a lot of advocacy of the many different participants and the groups that attended, and a lot of good energy toward the many national policies. In state this past year, the NOFA New Jersey board, and especially my dedicated, I'm getting a little possessive, my dedicated NOFA New Jersey Policy Committee reviewed many state bills. I throw them at them. They have no excuse not to read them. And I, of course, hit them over the head with them. But again, they're very important as we are very engaged with the Ag Assembly Committee. We collect and we offer comment on the many important specific areas to support our farming community, our growers, organic, and especially regenerative community inclusively. We're engaged actively with the, as I touched on, the Assembly Agriculture Committee members, senators, the New Jersey Department of Agriculture, and we share a great rapport with the New Jersey Farm Bureau, as well as many like-minded organizations and groups, as Devin touched on. We also are getting out there and we're attending state and county Board of Agriculture meetings regularly as well. I recommend that you do so. That's where, quote unquote, the action is, and we have to be in the room. So please, make time, get to your county agriculture meetings. The report continues, it elevates our conversation for our community as a whole. I would appreciate my slide. Do we have a slide, Tony? Because I'm happy to make a wonderful, important announcement for our community as a whole. Last year, NOFA New Jersey led the way, and we as NOFA New Jersey are pleased to announce to you that Assembly Bill A344 and S3140 passed, and it actually secured full passage through the Assembly and the Senate. The votes in both of those houses, I'm proud to tell you, that passed with full unanimous votes. This vote, which was signed on by the governor on January 10th, 2023, would, for the first time in New Jersey, establish an organic agricultural board. It was really, 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 really a great, great effort. And I want to thank the whole community. NOFA New Jersey did lead with other organic and regenerative farming and conservation organizations and our many farmers and growers to see this through. In communicating with policy shareholders and other farming organizations, we were reassured and confirmed that NOFA New Jersey now will be facilitating the open application process so that the appointments to the board hopefully occur more smoothly and quickly as they are submitted to the governor's office and accordingly to the appointment process reiterated in the law. As you can see on the right there, that first, I'm happy to tell you that the law takes effect immediately. So we need to get going. And I've been in touch with the governor's office and the appointment board, and they're ready and prepared to facilitate the process. So I'm happy. Getting appointments to a board can be a long, protracted process. So NOFA New Jersey's here again. We are not going to be the entity to make those decisions. Ultimately, we are going to facilitate. And I want to, of course, pull your attention to the right side of the screen that this is, as the bill and now the law reiterates, will be the composite and the new 7 seats at the table for the organic and regenerative grower farming community. I can't say that with more pride. We need a voice, and this is going to be our voice. We can no longer be ignored budgetarily. And I just can't thank, of course, our leadership by Devin, as well as our policy committee and our entire board, NOFA New Jersey. Because of the specificity within this bill and within this law and the composite of the board, that's why, again, we as NOFA New Jersey want to be the facilitators. We want to gather your names. We want to tell you right now, as of tonight, if you know someone, please send them. Right down at the bottom is our email. Please send them please send their name along if you are interested and dedicated. The board will, in fact, of course, meet quarterly, and the meetings will be regional. So your commitment is needed, of course, and your commitment has to be serious. We will be developing a mission. We'll be, in fact, of course, trying to pursue budget appropriation through the Department of Agriculture and through the state and through the governor's office. So after, as the board gets going, the best part about what we inserted as we worked with our legislators to make this bill into law was that we wanted responsiveness. And that's what, in fact, this law is going to do. Whatever comes out of the recommendations of the Agricultural Board, the Department of Agriculture shall, and the word is shall, which is a requirement by law, respond to us within 30 days. So I hope you're proud of our efforts in the sense that NOFA New Jersey has led the way with other like-minded organizations, collecting advocacy, collecting this energy from our farming community. And I thank you so much for the proud activity that we're doing. We're doing much, much more on the policy committee. But in closing, policy is a constant for NOFA New Jersey, making local farm and community viability and food security our drive through local, state, and national advocacy. Thank you all for your energy that you give us in this sphere. Lastly, if you're interested in farm policy, as every waking moment, I am dedicated and I want your energy. Okay, so if you are interested in any farm policy or any other policy issue that it's important to you, more specifically, please feel free to reach out to me directly at goatwell1@gmail.com. And again, thank you for a wonderful meeting.
Callie, you're a champion. Really moving the needle. It's immense what you're doing with all your energy. So thank you for that. Now on to maybe what's been the drier part of the annual meeting in the past, but Sean is going to liven it up a little bit because we've been able to make a really awesome impact this last year. Sean, can you tell us what we were able to do with some of our funding? And we'll pull up some slides for some background information about, what we're working with here.
Dry, boring. This is like the most exciting part of the whole meeting.
So
if you want to pull up the statement there for 2020 to 2021 to 2022, that'd be great. Can you go to the pie chart? It's a little bit easier to digest, I think. Okay. All of our financial reporting is posted on the website also. Just we have to make it available for anyone that is interested in looking at it. So if you're ever wondering where your dollars go, I can tell you exactly where that dollar was spent. If you have specific requests or would like funding reserved for a specific use, we can also arrange that as well. It doesn't have to just go into the general operating fund. A couple things I'd like to point out here. This is for our last fiscal year, 2021 to 2022, and we're 3/4 of the way through our current fiscal year, and we've received about $50,000 less in grant funding, but we've almost exceeded our revenue from 2021 to 2022 already, and we still have 3.5 months to go. So that's a great sign that we're still a strong organization financially. And the extra revenue has come from everyone on this call, from our donors, from our members, from people getting involved, and from the winter conference this year. So it's nice to see the involvement and activity from everyone in the organization. On the also on the revenue real quick, there's a little wedge there, the OFF investment. I just want to touch on that. That's our Organic Future Fund that was started by Al and a few other board members. That is a forever fund for the organization. We're using that to build a fund that we can tap in 5 to 10 years from now, once there's enough in there that will fund the everyday operations for NOFA New Jersey forever. And then we can use all the other donations and membership revenue and event revenue that we get for all the other programs and events that we do. It's only going to make the organization stronger. If you are interested in donating to that investment fund, reach out to Al, Devin, or myself, and we can help facilitate that. On the expenses side, I don't want to get too into the weeds there, but I just want to touch on two things. There's one little wedge there. It says insurance dues and office expenses. That's about $18,600. That is the only money that goes to keeping the lights on for us. Every other penny that comes in is spent either on salary for all of our wonderful staff members, or it goes back into something for our members, whether that's events, the winter conference, grant funding, or support for other organizations that need help, or other partner organizations that are in a grant with us. Everything that we get, we, for lack of a better word, invest back into our community. So it's all there, and we want people to be involved, and the more that we can bring in, the more we can just put right back into the community. And just to give a concrete example, that for the winter conference this year, we provided over $12,000 in financial support and scholarships for people to attend the meeting who could not otherwise go. For a lot of folks, a $100 ticket might not be a lot of money, but for a lot of folks out there, it's still a big chunk of change. And providing that assistance for them to go to the event probably is, reaps intangible benefits down the line for everyone.
Yeah, that's really exciting, Sean. To be able to share all of our good work with our community at large, anyone, whether those who can afford it, those who can't, it's got to be central to our mission. And just looking at our outreach, I mean, this past year of growth, we really have grown. Starting in 2022, this time, 2022, we had 270 memberships. Now, today, we're sitting at 347. It's not that accurate. But we need to grow. We need to keep growing. We need to keep reaching out to new communities, spreading our reach across the state, making sure that other organizations are feeling supported, that farmers everywhere are feeling supported, that farmers, whether you're organic or not, are feeling supported, because it really, it takes more than a village. It takes a state to get New Jersey to be food secure. So I want to see those numbers continue to grow, and everybody on this call everybody that has an interest in resilient, local, healthy food, please help us grow. So share our emails with your community, repost and tag us on social media, try and sell a membership for me, and I'll buy you a soda or a beer, whatever you want. Like, please just help us grow. It's imperative to our future. Sean, that was a really thorough review of finances. I appreciate it, because all the work that we do in the field, I would not be able to proficiently provide assessments like you give to me, which is really, really helpful.
Thank you.
So before we move on to our featured guest, does anybody have any pressing questions about all that we just discussed right now? We're going to have open community discussion at the end, but are there any targeted questions that you want us to clarify? If not, then we will keep on rocking and rolling. All right. So I am very excited to welcome Diana Kobus, Executive Director of Pennsylvania Certified Organic. And we're going to have a chat about the Transition to Organic Partnership Program. I'll let Diana give you the full spiel on what TOPP is and what it'll provide for our communities and our work. But I just want to say it's been such a blast working with Diana and her team so far. They really have their minds wrapped around what the community needs and what we can pragmatically do with a lot of the funding that USDA is making available. So Diana, can you give us a little intro about who you are, where you're coming from, and let's walk through the TOPP program a little bit. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Devin. Am I good on audio? Okay, great. Well, thank you all. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight and an honor. New Jersey is probably my favorite state. I lived there for about a year. When I worked for Whole Foods, I lived in Cranberry, New Jersey, if any of you are familiar. Yep. Hand for Cranberry. So I have been with PCO. It'll be 3 years in June as executive director. And I come to the organic community from the environmental science arena. So I am kind of an unknown entity to most folks in what I have found to be a very small community, even though nationwide, with nationwide reach, it seems like everyone knows each other, and it is quite a community of support. So it has been an honor to get to know folks in this area. I got into organics because I was working at Whole Foods and opening new stores. And when you open a new store, at least at the time I worked at Whole Foods, it was different. It was not Amazon, but people would come in and they'd be really curious about what this place was all about. But more often than not, I found that folks came in because they were sick or someone they loved was sick. And they were coming to find out what the story was with organic food and how they could find out more about it. So I decided to go back to graduate school and see if I could play a role in translating some of the science to the public. And long story and a long way around, that's how I came to PCO and to be with you all here today. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and that is where I'm currently located. PCO has 34 staff, and we are entirely remote. We've got folks from Oregon now to Maine to Florida. And it has really COVID offered us the opportunity to recruit far and wide across the country. We've got between 40 and 50 organic inspectors that we work with as well. And so that's just a little bit about me and my background and TOP. So the Transition to Organic Partnership Program. I'm going to drop a link in the chat, which is always a little dangerous for sidetracking people. But before I talk about TOP, it's really important that you understand the USDA's Organic Transition Initiative, or OTI. And that's the link I'm going to drop in here. you can check that out at your leisure, but essentially it's $3 million of funding, $300 million of funding that USDA has allocated into 3 areas. The first one is the TOP, or Transition to Organic Partnership Program. The second one involves NRCS funding, 100 million, and the third piece is market development for 100 million. These are all over the course of 5 years. Thanks, Devin. And so keep an eye out, because that third pillar there, that third column, the pinpointed organic market development, there is going to be a grant announcement coming out soon for that funding. So something to, bring a group together on for applying with those funds. There's a lot of good stuff that can come out of that. But TOP, which is in the first column, the Transition to Organic Partnership Program. So that's $100 million of funding total over the course of 5 years. And that's been divided up over the country into 6 different areas or regions: Northwest, Southwest, Northeast, Southeast, and then of course we have Midwest and the Plains states. So this is the first version of the USDA's map for TOP, and you can see that New Jersey there is part of the Northeast Mid-Atlantic region. And PCO was chosen to lead that region. So my organization was tasked with harnessing the power and the history of organic in this entire region of 14 states and territories to come together around this work. Each region is getting $15 million over the course of that 5 years. So we have $3 million a year essentially to spread from Maine to West Virginia to DC to develop mentoring programs for folks interested in the transition to organic or starting in organic, as well as technical support. Those are really the main focuses of our work in TOP. So Devin has been designated as our New Jersey representative, and we're doing things a little bit differently in the Northeast. We have a large number of core partners from most of those states that we are using to help get the word out and create those partnerships within the state. The other regions you see on the map, everyone's kind of approaching it in different ways for different reasons. But in the Northeast, with the strong legacy and roots of organic that we have and the strong organizations, I felt that it was very important to give some ownership to all of the folks who've been working so hard over the years. So we've got a little bit of a more of a democratic process, and we had our first kickoff meeting last week at Pocono Organics. And Devin was kind enough to bring us some ice cream from the Bent Spoon that was well enjoyed by everyone.
Probably still being enjoyed by some.
Probably. So yeah, I'm here to answer questions and help see if we can paint the picture a little bit brighter about what is going on with the TOP program. We're still really in the planning stages and working across regions to figure some things out, like the parameters of the mentorship program and the funds that will be allocated to pay farmers for being mentors. So some of that will be worked out at a national level so that we have consistency across the region. So there's a lot of collaboration happening. It is not a grant, it is a cooperative agreement with USDA, meaning that they are checking in with us constantly and we're reporting to them constantly. And there's just an open line of communication and ability to pivot where necessary as we go forward, as well as between the lead organizations and then within regions. So it's a lot to take on. I really appreciate Devin's support and excitement. Every call that we have, Devin shows up positive and excited and ready to work. So it's been a joy for me to have him included in our leads group in the Northeast region.
I'm equally excited, Diana. I mean, for any organization to take on initiatives like this, it's momentous. I mean, 15 million across how many states? Is it 10?
It's 14 if you include the District of Columbia. Yeah, we have the most number of states of any region. And I haven't checked, but I think we have the smallest amount of square miles, but the most number of states. So that's 14 state departments of agriculture. 14 nonprofits and or certifiers, lots of folks to corral and build community with.
Yeah, I mean, at first when this program rolled out and we started having these conversations, the thought is just, how is anybody going to manage this? But I got to say, y'all have been doing a great job. You throw a heck of a meeting. And one thing that we're really looking forward to, we saw the Human Capital Project, another cooperative agreement, bring the NOFAs really close together, and also some other partners like yourself. I can't wait for this to do that again, but even on a bigger scale, all of us collaborating more, developing resources together. One of the things that I want to see is collaborative networks of resources and information that we can continue to use well beyond the life of this program. So this 5 years is going to have an impact for hopefully 50, really.
Yeah, that is the approach that I'm taking with our region, is that these funds are for folks who aren't normally at the front of the line to be receiving funds like this. So instead of just saying like, hey, extension program, you're doing a great job, we can just give you more money to keep doing the work that you're doing on a bigger scale. The goal is to bring stakeholders together around projects. So maybe it's bringing a NOFA, an extension, and a small nonprofit that works with underserved communities together to fund a project. And we're creating those relationships, and we're creating that network of support, as Devin indicated, that will carry on, long past the funding here. And hopefully we're going to see this funding in some shape or form be repeated at the end of this 5 years. But if it's not, we're going to be poised to have built up enough community that we can do some more fundraising on our own to keep things moving.
And imperative to getting that funding on a continual basis, we have to bring the heat. You got to prove results. So the 2 KPIs, from what I recall, and please correct me if I ever misspeak here, but the 2 key indicators of our success are going to be an increase in farms or operations certified, whether they're handlers or processors or farms, and an increase in overall acreage. So this project is really flexible. We can target low-hanging fruit. We can reach out to folks who are already considering organic certification and help them cross the finish line. Or we can do the more difficult engagement, which we do need to actually dig in and do, is reach into that other side of farming that we typically don't engage with, the O word, the commodity growers, the big, chemical-based growers, which I'm really eager to bring our community together through this project, because we need it now more than ever, really, to operate as community, ag, and food systems. I think that this is one platform that we can actually start to do that. Al, do you know offhand when the NOFA Summer Conference is going to occur? And I bring it up because one big aspect of TOPP is just presence in the community. And that summer conference is always, from what I understand, a really big event. We'd love to push, maybe push isn't the right word, we'd love to engage on the TOPP program at the summer conference.
Actually, I don't. Last time I inquired, it was going to be either the last weekend in July or the first weekend in August, but I haven't heard anything more. I haven't inquired in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Usually it's set a long time ahead of time, but there's a change in director this year. So I don't know. Maybe that's why it's been delayed.
So usually late summer.
Yeah.
I'd like to turn this to the audience. If anybody wants to come out from behind, the video, and I'd like to hear if you're certified, why you're certified, or the inverse. If you haven't certified, why haven't you certified? What have been some barriers or challenges to your certification? Or do you need certification? What do you perceive as a benefit of certification? I don't want to call on anybody. So if there's crickets, we'll keep on, talking through some of the details of the program. But anybody out there want to share?
It might help to say, to underscore your point, Devin, about talking to folks we don't normally talk to. I want to make clear with everybody who's not operating an organic farm that this is really an opportunity for us to engage in a way that we're not used to. I think in the organic community, we're kind of used to preaching to the choir a little bit, and stepping out of our comfort zone and stepping onto someone's farm and listening to what their needs are, and how we can engage in the conversation about an organic transition is really a skill that all of us are going to be continually learning. I think those lessons will change every time you step onto someone's farm or talk to someone about that transition. So I want the folks who are not part of the organic community, by being certified, to feel comfortable and know that we are well aware of the things that we do wrong in trying to engage you on a regular basis, and that we're all going to be working to approach that very differently.
Anybody in the crowd feel strongly about certification?
Can I ask a question just about the top program? So it's meant, my understanding is it's focused on identifying mentor programs to support farmers that are considering becoming certified organic. Is that, can you talk a little bit more about how that works?
Sure. A lot of that is still being cemented, I guess, in terms of the how it works. Just to give you a little background, I got a call about this in the early fall, and it didn't become real until sometime around mid-November. It wasn't in my budget at PCO, it wasn't in my work plan, and overnight our budget almost doubled and my work definitely doubled. So in some regards, we are building the plane while we're flying it as the 6 regional leads, but I will tell you what I can, and that is right now we have folks like Devin out in the states in the Northeast collecting information about mentor programs, so that as we are solidifying what the definition of a top mentor looks like and what the requirements are, we are collecting as much information as we can about what's happening in the communities across the region, so that when that standard is clear, we can then tap that entire community of mentor programs and say, if you can meet this bar, you can come under the umbrella of the top program and help us do this work together. If you don't meet that bar, what are some ways we might be able to get you there, so that we're extending our reach and multiplying it as much as possible. There will be an onboarding program at that high level with top for anyone or any program that wants to be a part of it. And we are still formulating what exactly that will look like, but it will likely be something recorded, like a webinar, and maybe some kind of open hours meetings to launch it, so that there is some standardization of understanding, making sure there's an understanding of the regulations and different things before we send folks off to be mentors. Is that helpful?
A lot of orchestration, a lot of moving pieces, but they're all moving in a good direction. So, good outcomes to be had. Mike, did you have any more questions on that line of thought, or? All right. So I know Jared.
Devin, I'm noticing Jared There's a
Yeah,
gentleman
I'd
that
love to
wants to
hear
speak.
Jared. Come on up, Jared. I'll let you do your own introductions, but Jared's been giving me a lot of good suggestions and information and feedback lately, so I'm always eager to hear what you got to say.
Thanks, Devin. And I'm gonna attempt to work off the prompt, but there was a little bit of a delay between the prompt and me speaking now. So if I stray off the path, I apologize. I'm a certified organic farmer and certified real organic farmer in Bergen County, New Jersey. I believe we're the only certified organic farm up here. Unfortunately, Bruce let go of his, but I think he was the longest tenured certified organic farmer up until this year in New Jersey. So too bad to see him go. But I became certified under duress. I farm on someone else's land. We work together. It's a probably a less traditional partnership in terms that we run the business together with the owner more in the background and me more day to day. And when he was vetting people to bring in, one of our big standoffs at the very start was my antagonism towards the certification process, because it was my belief at that time that it was so undermined and devalued by the fact that so much work had been put in by big agriculture to remove the actual underlying philosophy from the core of what it was. And that I had a strong belief that I would be able to overcome the lack of certification in terms of its marketing prowess as something you can just put on a bag and then it kind of sells itself at a higher price. My feeling was, with the growing regenerative movement and just kind of the way that the dissemination of information coming out of USDA was occurring at the time. And again, this was pre-COVID, so things were very different. Very cute dog, by the way. Mine's not here. So I really stood my ground, but in the end, you know, it is a partnership, and I'm glad I gave in eventually. Originally, we were certified by Eric Bremer through the New Jersey Department of Agriculture, but as we all know, that no longer occurs. So we are now certified by NOFA New York. Sorry.
They're great.
So I say all that in context to say that a big push I have for my customer base and my team is to really understand that you can have a cognitive dissonance between a label and reality. And I think a big hurdle that a lot of my customers face when they come face to face with the reality of what it means to actually interact with a farmer is that I will challenge them on their understanding of what it means to be organic. And I will explain that the label of organic truly no longer means what it means, that the relationship we, or I should say, it no longer means what it used to mean or what it was founded to mean. And that the relationship between the farmer and the eater is the most important thing we can do now. Now, beyond that, it's been, you know, abundantly clear since joining the organic movement that involvement in it is the only way to improve it. But it also feels like there are many disparate voices attempting to all accomplish similar but slightly different facets of the same goal, and that everyone is being pushed to try to represent every cohort of people, whether that's a minority group or an activist group or a government group, but it feels like every small organization is trying to be a catch-all. And that's something Devin and I have discussed a lot, and how in the mix of things, with all of the noise from people trying to clamor, one, for resources, but two, to be represented, which they all should be, that in the end, it kind of feels like the farmer is really getting lost, and that the movements, each of these individual movements, is kind of succumbing to one another depending on where the whim of the whatever catastrophe has occurred at a given time. So this sounds like an incredible program. It sounds like something that could really help connect people. And I really hope through this connection that we can find some amount of kind of breakout role for each individual institution, where each organization can specialize. And therefore, when I need something, or when one of my employees has an issue, and let's say they're a first-gen immigrant, I know which institution to go to who has the resources and the specialties and people who have dealt with this before. Thanks for showing the website, Devin. Or Tony. Tony gets all the credit.
Tony gets all the credit here.
Tony gets all, I know it was Tony. So, you know, that would be an amazing outcome for me, because when I go to seek a resource for anything, it feels like there are 17 redundancies all doing a mediocre job. And that's not to indict anybody. It's just that no one has specialized yet. So I would really, really hope that a possible outcome for this would be that, because then my day-to-day would be a lot easier.
Absolutely. And Jared, you've given me so many points of entry. I'm not sure where to jump in. So I'm gonna do my best and ask somebody to stop me if this gets too far off topic. But I want to first say that all of the certifiers in our region are part of TOP equally. And so just because PCO is running this program doesn't mean that we're getting all of the transition clients, and NOFA New York won't, or MOFGA won't. We are in the process of setting up a separate website that won't be branded for any of us for the Northeast, so that you can go to whichever certifier you choose. So there's no favoritism. I want to make sure I mention that. But in regards to your point about the small farmer, it is a deep concern, I think, of every person employed at PCO. I think most of us got into this work because of a big heart for the small farmer. And it's a constant challenge to balance, are we taking care of the small farmer in the certification process, as, you know, big organic ag also takes over a lot of acres. And so it's a constant concern of mine, and it is one I bring into every room I enter in these conversations. You know, when fees are going up, and inspector fees are going up, SOE happens, what's the impact on the small farmer? It's really important that we keep talking about that, because it's very easy to want to go after transitioning a large number of acres, and, you know, kind of in one fell swoop. But we've got to be mindful of keeping that balance. So I can assure you that we're working very hard to do that. And also, this Northeast region is one of the most sensitive areas to corral, because of the feelings of strong minded folks who were responsible for starting the organic movement. And it's really important that we keep that voice present with us, because as conventional always tries to pull organic towards more conventionally minded production, we need those other voices of those other organizations pulling us back, and keeping organic as close to its roots as possible. So organic is still, USDA organic is still the bedrock standard. There are a lot of labels out there. PCO has been ROC accredited, ROC certified for regenerative organic through the ROA, which grew out of Rodale. But there are a lot of other regenerative tags out there. There are a lot of other natural and grass-fed. And you know, any of you who take your family to the grocery store, I'm sure could tell a story about how misleading the labels are. So it's really important that we put support behind the USDA organic label because it is the best thing we have to work with. And I'm a big proponent of trying to not have like the internal firing squad in the organic community, because we're the needle of 5% of the food system. And it's that other 95% that all of us, really want to see go a different way. So it's important that we work together to do that and harness the community that we all have. Let's see in the chat. So Jared, I don't know if there was a question in there or just you wanted some reassurance, but I hope that was helpful.
It was. Again, I was trying to respond to a delayed, I guess, prompt by Devin, which was, I think, just to speak if I was an organic farmer. So I'm an organic farmer, and it's great to hear about this program. Devin had mentioned something, a few days ago, so it's great to hear the explanations of it, and that's fantastic too. I guess it's more so, I really, really couldn't care about the label 364 days a year. It's the one day that I'm sending money to the organization and putting all this paperwork through. But every other day of the year, the only things I think about are, how's my team doing? How are the crops doing? Is it going to be rainy on market day? So I think I also hope, kind of with these questions that that Janine put in the chat, it matters more to me as a farmer and more to me, I think as a community of farmers, I couldn't care about the label in terms of my practices. I care that my practices build the label, if that makes any sense. So I know a lot of farmers that aren't certified, and they would never get certified because it's insane to think they would keep track of how many fluid ounces per gallon per acre they sprayed of every substance on every crop. That's insane. But we ask them to do it, and we do it, and it takes way too much time for what it is. And I get it, but it's it's that mix of things where, if the outcome and the practices are good and they are not complying necessarily with all the paperwork, are they any worse for it? And I guess that's where I just start to get into all of these partnerships of, I hope we can see beyond the labels and beyond the organizations and actually see the people who are doing the work, because I think that gets lost a lot.
I hear you. Yeah. Well, to your point and to the question here about, does this solely include organic certification expansion, or is there an element for climate smart ag, whether it's organic or not? This is not part of the climate smart program, and this top program is directly funded out of the USDA National Organic Program. So it is about organic certification. At the end of the day, can climate smart practices be a part of that, or environmentally friendly practices be a part of that? Absolutely. We hope to do it the best we can at every level in terms of on-farm practices, but there's not a separate way to recognize that under the top program, if that's what you're looking for.
If I could jump in real quick, Diana, I just want to thank you, Jared, because I feel like you hit so many nails on so many heads with all of your feedback. I mean, there was really nuts and bolts feedback there as to what our challenges are going to be in this TOPP program, why there's hesitancy with farmers out there, or why there's skepticism about the NOP and the USDA seal. I'd like to paraphrase because I can't quote it precisely, but Jeff Moyer joined us for this kickoff meeting that we recently had, and he discussed the origins of the ROC, Regenerative Organic Certification. And here's a plug: Thursday, the webinar, add-on certifications with NOFA New Jersey. and the Real Organic Project in Rodale. But Jeff Moyer shared, we saw that the NOP is this massive Titanic of a ship, and you can't really turn that ship quickly. And it's designed to do so. And that's a beautiful thing. And we all know, and I'll speak freely here, that there has been entities and forces within trying to get the NOP regulations to abandon some of their roots. Let's put it that way. I'm kind of speaking around it here. But the opportunity is for us to continue to help shape that future and drive it back to what its roots are meant to be. Because if we're looking at two futures, one where we completely cast it off, abandon it, what does that future look like? How do we know with any kind of certainty what kind of food we're eating, with what kind of practices it was produced? The other is we can continue to improve it. We can take advantage of some of these add-on certifications like the ROP or the ROC, and hopefully they can be placeholders for us if we want to get that ultimate assurance that our food is actually growing it how it's being marketed. And there's only one way to do that, and it's through working through the NOP and the USDA organic seal. So it's going to be, a long process. I haven't been in it that long. I can't speak to it, like some other farmers have who've, Al Johnson here, he helped shape this whole thing as an inspector and one of the, longtime NOFA members. But the only way forward to actually improve this system, if we believe that there should be some recognition for farmers that do practice organic and regenerative methods, is buying in. So we really need to hear that nuts and bolts feedback as to why folks are hesitant. What challenges do you have? I hear you with record keeping. It's insane. And you try and look at an app like Airtable and the million different things you can do with it. And it's so overwhelming. And right now, there aren't that many great resources for keeping track of so many different farm records and planting dates and seeding dates and seeds that you purchased and where you couldn't get them from. So you had to check through. The list goes on as to, why it's difficult for a farmer to actually follow through with it. So hopefully through this project, we can build resources that help farmers address these challenges and, make it that much easier for our farm to market itself as they're growing. I don't want to, keep talking here into the mic because I know there's people on this call that have plenty of great feedback they could provide. Does anybody have another challenge to maintaining certification that we could hopefully improve through some of these resources that are coming our way? You got anything?
Anybody out there? I know something.
Got something else to add, but
come on, Mike.
What you got, Mike?
And we're getting close to the end of our time too, right? So we're
have some Q&A or open discussion, or if we want to keep going on this, we got a couple.
I really want to just reiterate our thanks to Diana and in particular, and to PCO for taking the lead on this, and to the USDA for recognizing that the massive amount of money that gets allocated through congressional acts often don't get to those smaller farmers that Jared was referencing. And I think one of the really exciting things about this program, as I've seen it, is one, the freedom of the program to be sure that the money is spent effectively and distributed effectively to small scale organizations. The other piece is the importance of the mentoring within the programming, because that seems to be really a strong factor whereby the farmers will be empowered. The farmers will be bringing other farmers along. And so we're sort of beating, we're evolving really past the sort of corporate structure that kind of ignored the grassroots structure of the organic movement. So I think it's a really exciting program. I'm so grateful, Diana, for you taking the time to come and talk to us about it. And I'm really excited about the potential and the opportunity that you're giving and a small organization like NOFA New Jersey to be able to meet our bills. And and, you know, have some money to be able to pay for our programming. So it's pretty exciting. And I feel really optimistic about where this is going to go.
Second that emotion. Diana, for folks that are interested in participating with us, at least in the mentorship program, what are the next steps? I know we're going to be onboarding throughout this summer, and hopefully we'll be starting our mentor-mentee relationships in the fall. But what's the next step if folks want to get more involved? Can we go? Tony's got the website pulled up.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So right now it's on PCO's website, but as I said, later in the summer, hopefully we'll have organictransition.org ready to go. So it won't be branded with PCO, but for now, if you go to the PCO website where you were and click on at the top, the Transition to Organic Partnership Program, there is a link there for you to express your interest. You'll have to go back to the main.
Might have to go back to the main. Oh, no, there it is. Yeah, all the way up at the top, that very top bar. Yeah, click on that. There we go.
There you go. Okay, if you scroll down just a little bit, you will see the map, and you will see a link to submit your partnership interest. And if you click on that, it'll bring up a Google form. And that's where you can just simply enter your information, and we'll get you added to our mailing list, emailing list for now, and where we'll track that information to then submit back to NOP. So that's how we'll be able to reach back out to you. We currently have a MailChimp set up to send out regular updates to that mailing list. So if you sign up for it, you'll get those regular updates automatically.
And to confirm, go through that form if you're interested in being a mentor, if you're interested in obtaining mentorship as a mentee, if you're interested as a partner, bringing these resources to your organization, your community, if you're interested in partnering with NOFA, if you're a farm interested in hosting some of our TOPP events, like it's a catch-all, right? Perfect.
Absolutely. Yep. And yeah, field days, farm walks, anybody who's interested in hosting those, get in touch with Devin or me or both of us, and we'll get those scheduled up and make those part of our project plans too.
We'll have some fun. Well, Diana, thank you so much. Anybody else? Any last questions before we let Diana, resume her life and get back on to?
Oh no, thank you all so much. It is a great pleasure to be in front of folks from the great state of New Jersey anytime.
Does it feel like home being with us on Zoom?
It does. I often say that Pittsburgh is the closest thing to Jersey outside of Jersey. Just kind of skip over Philly, and sorry for any Philly.
Don't trash Philly. Not here.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Diana. I'll see you on Friday.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Diana.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
So, Tony, are you cooking something up, or can we get the folks to talk about?
Yeah. What do you guys want to say? What I want to say, somebody reached out to me because we are a very powerful entity. We are a group. We have connections that run beyond the state, apparently. One of the things that I'm looking for is I'd love some people to go bulk and buy like pounds and pounds and pounds of wildflower seeds. Anybody else need wildflower seeds? That's something I want. What do you guys want? Anything else you guys need?
Floor is wide open, folks.
Floor is wide open. I'm going to sharpen up the focus.
What's top of mind? Jared wants to know what kind of seeds you got. Are you going? You American Meadows? Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, right now, the best option I've found for wildflower seeds is American Meadows. They're non-GMO. They're not certified. But so that's a kind of, you got to talk to your certifiers about that. If they will allow you to bring in, non-GMO seeds that you then raise organically. But yeah, right now I think they're out of Vermont, American Meadows. They have a Northeast wildflower blend, or they have a Northeast pollinator blend, or they have a Northeast native blend. So depending on what you're doing, I have a friend who needs 45 pounds. I might need like 10 to 20 pounds. So I mean, I'm sure if we keep adding up, hopefully it'll all add up. So what anybody else want that, or do you have something else that you need help with? You know, just because we haven't done it yet doesn't mean it's not possible. So if you have a request, our objective is to help the farmers succeed. We want to be able to help facilitate the needs that we all need. So if you don't ask, we can't help. So have no shame, even if it's something we can't do. I told a friend who's got some contacts in Japan, I said, hey, can we fill up what are those box storage containers, one of those cargo containers? Can we ship over a couple of those little like K trucks with a dump body, or maybe some miniature grain harvesters? Whatever, if
you can coordinate that. I'm not.
If the answer is no, then fine. But if you don't ask, then we can't try. So what do you guys want?
Tony, this may get very farm nerdy very fast, but do you follow Noguchi Farm on Instagram? If you don't, I highly recommend it. They have some wash and pack tools and some onion transplanting tools that will blow your mind.
Oh yeah, and so
unbelievable.
How do you spell that?
It's a phonetic language. Noguchi. I said I shamed you for not knowing it was a phonetic language and immediately misspelled it, which is my life. It's incredible. They have incredible machinery, plastic layers for low tunnels. They have like some type of rope twirler that gets the low tunnels all hooked up so fast. And then they have this beautiful head lettuce packager, because the Japanese love very individual. I used to live there. I'm not like generalizing, but every little thing is individualized. So like if you open a package, each one is going to be individually packaged. And they have this beautiful head lettuce packager for retail. So each one is like ready to go. It's crazy.
I'm trying to fill a storage container, so maybe we can.
You let me know when you get it. I'm there.
All right. And anybody else have good dreams that we want to add to?
Sean wants to make everybody's garden a pollinator heaven.
I'd like pollinator heavens.
The Xerxes pollinator kit.
Oh man, yeah, Andrea's trying real hard to get that one. Andrea, I know
Wait,
you're on.
On that note about the transitioning gardens to, or lawns to pollinator gardens, does Callie know at all about local government ordinances to mow lawns to a certain height? Because one of the hardest hitting issues I've dealt with here is that when people come in and ask what they can do, I say, just don't mow your lawn. But then they're like, well, I'll get a ticket.
What?
Like, if you don't mow your lawn in certain jurisdictions.
Yeah, to cut to the chase, that's a great question. Having dealt with local zoning officials and as a health officer, as well as, of course, under when indeed, of course, there is property that has been, let's say, abandoned or vacant, and there's overgrown lawns. There's something called the Public Health Nuisance Code. But the thing is that I have found that unfortunately, and I can name some communities which I will remain unnamed tonight, but unfortunately there is a inconsistent application through zoning officials and something called a maintenance official. So if you've got a shingle hanging the wrong way, or your number's not right on your house, or your lawn is too tall, then there's some overzealous. I'm going to say it the way it is. I am a straight shooter. There are some inconsistency in application in the sense that your lawn is perceived as not being maintained. And then instead of working with that homeowner, then you could see, like you're touching on, that there may be some enforcement, unfortunately, without cooperation. So that is really an unfortunate menace in some communities with zoning officials that need to be roped in. Maintenance officials. But as far as myself as a health department, when indeed, of course, I had those type of situations, I barely wrote a summons. I worked with the homeowner. I offered my DPW to come work with them. But indeed, of course, in environmental and ecological, there has to be, of course, working, I believe, with your community environmental commissions. There should be some ordinances out there. If you'd like some follow-up, I can follow up with you and I will try and find that out for you. But generally, of course, it comes down to the general appearance of maintenance and lawns. Obviously, there's, the optimism is to grow on that lawn, to grow nutritious food, our own food security, our own pollinator species, native species for plants, instead of buying the worst awful landscape plants that are just terrible. So there's so much done there, Jared. You touch on something so important, but we need to, of course, cultivate education at the local level, and then, of course, promote the right thing with our lawns and, reduction of many things. Thank you. I hope that's helpful.
Part of the reason why, no, we're not muted. Part of the reason why we wanted to share our amazing team is that we've got a deep bench. We've got some awesome folks that are within NOFA that have this extensive background, great diversity of experiences, dynamic skill sets. And I'm not saying you can reach out to everybody directly because they're all busy on their own, but if you reach out to us, we can reach out to them. We can bring their experience and their knowledge and help you with the many varied things that we all deal with on a daily basis. So, don't hesitate. If you don't see it on the website, if we're not doing it, we can still try and help or connect you with a partner who's doing that work already. Shout out to NJ Audubon for hanging on and showing, putting some info in the chat.
Yeah, so the question that came up, liking to see more assistance for homeowners converting their lawn to that. So Andrea is, so my wife Andrea, we're Martinet Farms. She's the farmer, I'm the clown. So she's also a massage therapist, and one of her clients is in a super foo-foo fancy neighborhood, and they want to allow their lawn to go wildflower. Native. Yeah, they wanted to go native, and it's crazy because we know that that's the right thing to do. We know that's far superior, not only for the soil but for the biodiversity of our little flyers. But what kind of consequences are there? That's So Sean, have you gone down this rabbit hole yet?
Well, I started to establish a small pollinator area in the lawn, and this is the third year, and the first year everything did well. The second year was last year with the drought. It really suffered, and I will keep going until I get it right. But it would be neat if we could work with, maybe this is the opportunity here with the Audubon Society or with someone who can. I'd be happy to pay someone to say, here's what you need to do, here's what we need to do to get the turf ready, and maybe start with some seeds and a combination of starter plants, plugs, to get going, get a jump on the season, because it's just too hard to for me just to keep throwing seeds down every year and hoping that it works. So there could be some opportunity to work with homeowners and establish a more formal plan to get them up and running.
Yeah. So if you are familiar with
you're on mute again.
Oh, we're on mute. I even was spelled out of screen with my ASL.
You're still on mute, guys.
Oh, you're not. We can hear you. I don't know what happens.
Thank you.
Okay. And my ASL was being spelt out of frame, so that didn't help any. So if anyone has checked out, so last year or 2 years back now, we had started a relationship with Drumthwacket, with the historic New Jersey governor's mansion. Whoever's the governor gets this house in Princeton, and we had been doing a lot of work with them, gardens, using their space as a canvas, as a teaching ground. One of the side
Tony, I think you still may be muted there. I don't think I can't hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you loud and clear. I think something's wrong with Sean's.
Yeah, I can hear him, Sean.
Is it just me or?
Yeah.
It's you,
Sean.
Headphones.
I hear you.
Oh, sure. You got the best voice on this call, but not the best ears, I guess. Anyway, all right. So we had started a bunch of garden projects at Drumthwacket in Princeton, and one of which started or had been called upon by the First Lady. So Tammy Murphy had requested we created a pollinator patch, and this is actually going to be the second year of this pollinator patch. And so we're kind of going behind the curtain. We're trying to hit the governor's wife to help push the governor to really try to make better policy about this, because it's ridiculous that the fact that Nate could get a summons if he doesn't mow his lawn properly, that's ridiculous, especially for people that are consciously trying to make the effort to better the environment. That should not be a punishable thing. So we are trying to help that. And
Nate, if you go to jail, make it worth
yeah,
it.
we'll
Not for an unkept lawn.
we'll
Come on.
work it out. We'll help you get out. Don't worry. Whether it's the Sicilian side or it's the legal side, I don't know. Who is that?
I have to jump in here. I'm sort of new to this circle. I've been coming in the fringes and I come in and out of grass right now with my background. But I'm Christina from 360 Earthworks, and in my old life, for 15 years involved with the watershed, I was doing talks on losing your lawn for the greater good. So I have a lot of background and resources. If anybody needs it, I'd be happy to share it, because it is a dialogue in the community of how to inform and educate and advocate why losing the lawn for the greater good is worth it. And I have a lot of good references for seed sources and methodology, and Jersey Friendly Lawn Yards also was a big proponent of pushing this. So I've done conversions like that. If you guys ever need the resources, I'm happy to talk about that more offline.
Yeah, well, so if anybody's listening, she's a resources. There's a bunch of resources here to, the more we connect with one another, the stronger all of us are. Obviously, for those of you who know me, obviously I have a very mushroom deep roots, and those mushroom deep roots connect to the other mushroom deep roots and the other tree roots. And with that connectivity, we are stronger. And that's the same with us humans. It's a little different. You have to be careful how you connect. But so somebody actually had just asked if you could come visit Drumthwacket. That's a little more delicate, but something that Devin and our Drumthwacket team have been doing is supporting their creating, they as in Drumthwacket are creating a educational barn location, which hopefully will then be used to better teach the youth and the adults about environmental awesomeness, and in which case we will be able to bring in.
I can drive around with the truck and trailer. I'm just go for a walk.
The garden.
The Suburban is partially, it's disabled right now. You cannot use it. You can use the van. You have to let
He's talking.
You can use the van, but you can't use the man.
It's not like
Wait.
There's a lot going on.
Hold on.
It's not just me. So anyway, the point is we have been actively working on trying to get some of our folks over to Drumthwacket. They're one of their chefs, or the chef, the only chef, Chef Ches DeCellis. We've been working more with him as well. And Robin Brenner trying so hard to try to get maybe a fundraiser dinner there in the upcoming season or the following season. So do keep your eyes peeled. We've got, we all like to eat. We love food, we love environment, we love people. And so what's better than a celebratory eating fest with people amongst the beautiful garden environment? And we're really trying to get that to happen there eventually. So, well, what else do we have? We have coming up after.
Tony, can you hear me? It's Pam. Can you hear me? Because I asked the question about coming to see your projects at Drumthwacket. So how will we know? Will you post it on NOFA? Like when can we get invited?
Are you on are you connected to our social medias and our emails and all that stuff?
The emails I am, yeah. I
Is this
get them.
Pam Lewis?
Devin.
If you don't
Yeah,
mind.
it's Pam Lewis. Yeah, hi.
Hey, there you are. So
me?
I can see
A
you.
little in the dark.
Yeah, that's all right. So yeah, and alternatively, Another great way that kind of gets folks into some interesting places is, if you reach out and say, hey, I'd love to volunteer to help, because we go there and actually maintain the garden, and there's never enough hands weeding.
I'll
We-
help.
number of-
Yes, I volunteer to help you.
Yeah, so shoot us an email, and we'll try to connect that. So we'll give
How
you.
do I shoot you an email? What do I
What's
do?
the best way? Info@NOFA or
NOFA@NOFA-NJ.org. It's the email
Okay.
that's on the bottom of our website homepage.
Okay,
Or
yeah,
just
just
send
say
a reminder.
Tony, just say Tony,
Evan or Tony,
Pam's here. I'd like to volunteer when you're going again.
Yeah, we'd love
All
to have you.
right.
And
All right, because you know what, I'm so excited to hear this news about Tammy Murphy, because I wrote a letter to Governor, what's his name? Republican governor, that
Christie?
big
Gorsuch?
guy, the big guy with the big mouth.
in the lawn
Who
chair,
was he? What was it?
Chris Christie. That
Chris
guy?
Christie. Yes, him. I wrote a great letter to Mrs. Christie because we went down one day and we saw the front of the State House had no native plants at all. So we even got we went inside and somebody came down from his office and interviewed us, my girlfriend and I, and we wrote this letter and we really begged her to have a garden at Drumthwacket and also in front of the State House. I mean, the honeybee is our bee, is our state insect, right? I never got a reply, but he had somebody call me who was our beekeeper. I think this is the way who called and said I should get in contact with the New Jersey Beekeepers Association. So there was no interest. So for you to have created this passion and this project is really phenomenal. Congratulations.
Thank you. And so, most things, when you can start it at home first, then it can go extend out. So hopefully they'll see how awesome it is to have this perennial patch of pollinators that, comes back. Not only is it more efficient in the, maintenance sense, they don't have to pay somebody because it comes back. But yeah, we know environmentally the pollinator factor, and the soil lack of disturbance. I'm sure in Trenton, the soil doesn't go that deep in front of the courthouse or the State House rather, but yeah, it's important. And so at least right now we have kind of been skirting around the curtain and kind of getting their ears from the backside, and it seems to be well received. So we got to keep connecting in any ways that we can. And that goes for all of our other projects, whatever else we have going on. We always need other volunteers. We need people to help just, facilitate whatever the project is that we're doing. So if you have the time, space, and energy, and maybe it's only in your neighborhood, wherever your neighborhood is in New Jersey, we are trying to get work done there. So reach out, let us know you are available to help facilitate or help be a part of. And perhaps it's something that you're interested in learning. Maybe you see when it's time for Charlie West's pawpaw extravaganza. You come out and help with the pawpaws, eat some of that awesome pawpaw
ice cream.
I like the ice cream. That's my
I
favorite.
never had a pawpaw, but I think General Washington, our president, loved those pawpaws and planted them at his home.
Excuse me, Devin, I just want to add to this conversation about pollinators that last year, I think more so, a little bit more than last year, NOFA New Jersey also was very involved with New Jersey Audubon and New Jersey Conservation. And I'm proud to tell you that we're the first of 5 states in the nation that did get a neonics bill passed here in New Jersey.
Yes.
That prohibited private use of neonicotinoids. So we're on the forefront of that. And I hope to be helpful with that notation on that. Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, I'm going to insert my voice here. One of the other things I do is for the Sauerland Conservancy. I'm the coordinator for their exhibitors. And one of the things I try to get going the first time last year, was developing one single program for everybody who wants to support pollinators and come together, develop one set of resources, one set of links, one set of, a slide packet that every organization that wants to support pollinators can use, so we don't have to keep reinventing the wheel for every individual organization. So we won't be able to get it done for this year's Mountain Fest, but if we can start maybe working together and come up with a list of organizations that we can pull together, I'd like to get involved with that with all you'd with 360 Earthworks. You'd be a wonderful resource.
That's a great idea. The more that we can create content and curriculum that we can continue to share as long as it continues to be, viable. Obviously, pollinators, that this is going to be viable for ages. So yeah, that would be great to create some content and curriculum we can share. Now, the Mountain Fest, do you know what is the date of the Mountain Fest this year?
July 23rd. In fact, Unionville Vineyards again, last year, we had 1,000 people show up. This year, we're increasing the attendance to 1,200.
Nice.
And
NOFA are actually looking for some folks to help us facilitate a environmental educational food station, if you will. So if anybody out there wants to come help out, that gets you into the festival for free. But it also helps us to reach out to that thousands of people that show up. So what better way? So Susan, I got to bump you off because we forgot. Stephanie has some really important information we're supposed to be talking about. This is national information. So Stephanie, you're joining us now from Hopewell, New Jersey. Tell us about the state of America.
Well, so many of you know that the Farm Bill is coming up this year for reauthorization. It comes up every 5 years. This is a gigantic federal bill that regulates not only how we produce food, but also who gets to eat it. And the nutrition aspect of the Farm Bill is huge. They have the SNAP program, which is what used to be called food stamps, as well as other programs to counteract food insecurity. In the Farm Bill, they are also giving lots and lots of money out. They give it as incentives, they give it as insurances. There is a lot of research funding that gets into the Farm Bill. So all of us really are touched in one way or another by the Farm Bill. And so the interstate NOFA is taking the lead on how NOFA will have its voice heard in order to promote programs for the smaller local organic production that is going on in the Northeast as compared to the enormous factory farms that you might find in the Midwest or the West or even the South. So the Northeast is quite special in that we don't have these massive land acquisitions that have monocultures on them as they do in the Midwest, but we have small integrated farms that try to serve their local communities. And so we're trying to impress upon Congress the importance of that, especially in the Northeast area. We're very fortunate to have one senator and one congresswoman who are each on their respective agriculture committee and will also have tremendous say in what goes into the Farm Bill. And we have been working with our wonderful Senator Cory Booker who understands our issues and who will promote them in the Senate. And his staff is in contact with NOFA New Jersey in order to get more ideas and more feedback on what goes into the Farm Bill. In our winter conference, we did have an interview with Congresswoman Shelley Pingree from Maine, and she is and has been an organic farmer in Maine on a small scale because she is on a small island there. And so she clearly understands the issues that we are promoting. And she has put forth several bills, especially the Agricultural Resilience Act, which encompasses so much that would solve so many of the problems that we see with agriculture today. And by putting forward these smaller bills, they will eventually become incorporated in this massive farm bill, and then will get voted on by Congress. And so, again, we have been very fortunate to open the channels of communication with some advocates in the Congress and in the Senate, and we hope to pursue that as the Farm Bill moves forward. So Devin might want to add a little bit to this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, connecting the dots is what it's all about. So there's different levels of advocacy, and we're your grassroots advocate here in New Jersey. So we need that feedback. We need your concerns, your ideas, your suggestions on local levels trying to change. And we push that upwards. So we push that to the interstate NOFA. We push that, sorry, I lost my camera. I'm going to go to this one, Tony. We push that up to the interstate NOFA, and we engage with, National Sustainable Ag Coalition, National Organic Council, NOC, or National Organic Coalition, excuse me, OTA, a lot of other organizations we actually, inform of what's going on in New Jersey. So your voice gets directly funneled right on up. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they don't have a voice. The only way you don't have a voice is if you don't speak up and let us know. So that's just my, shameless self-plug to keep the information coming, keep the feedback coming. If we really want to have an impact, we got to get loud, got to make some noise. So thank you, Stephanie. I mean, the Farm Bill, it's such an important thing, and it's so big and hard to digest. Janine dropped into the chat a handful of Farm Bill guides and overviews. Definitely check those out. You can also check out on NOFA New York's website. The NOFAs, we have a small policy committee of representatives from the various NOFAs, and we've developed a joint Farm Bill priority list that I'll drop in the chat as well. Are we good on tech, Tony?
Yeah. Oh,
Nice.
yeah. We're back. We're hardwired. The wireless stuff was getting overheated. So in the chat right now, there is a link. So if you all know how to access your chat, there is a link right now. NOFANewYork.org advocacy Farm Bill. But I do want to bring Janine in if you're ready for that.
Yeah.
You ready for that,
Yeah.
Janine? We're going to bring you in. We're bringing her in.
How so? To talk about local food purchase assistance?
Hold on, where did we go? How come I can't get you? It won't let me bring you into the spotlight. What's going on here?
I don't need to be brought into the spotlight. That's fine. It's been a long day.
She doesn't want that. All right, so let's talk food.
Sure. Okay. So there's been a big infusion of there I am. There's been a big infusion of funding to the states, to all states through 2 cooperative agreements from USDA, 2 states. One is the local food for schools, and that's $5 million that came to New Jersey only. There's no admin, like it came to the Department of Ag, and they can't use it for anything else except sending it to schools to purchase local food for the cafeteria. So that money's already out, and it's already been distributed to I think 600 different school districts. And so I'm just so just put a pin in that for a second. The second amount of money is $9.7 million that came to New Jersey, but hasn't begun to be distributed yet. And that went to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, the biggest food bank. And that's to allow the food bank to purchase from local farms, because typically the food bank can't do that, or hasn't been. The biggest food banks haven't been able to do that because they have to be so price conscious. So they haven't been able to pay like a fair price for local food in the past. So I guess the reason why I wanted to just take a minute to talk through that is because farmers are going to be increasingly like outreached to find out whether or not they're interested in selling to schools or selling to or growing specifically for the large food banks over the next 3 years. It's 3 years worth of funding. And the Food Democracy Collaborative is going to be and the Common Market are we're going to be helping be like sort of the outreach arm of the food bank with this funding to help like find out if farmers are interested. There's a lot of challenges, right? Because you have to be able to grow in like very large quantities. They're huge purchase orders. And so if you're interested, but don't currently meet the requirements for being able to grow a certain amount by certain dates or whatever, we could also talk through like, what would it take for you as a business owner to eventually over the course of years be able to meet those requirements if you're interested in the future of selling farm to institution. So it's just really like a heads up that if there are folks who are curious about what it looks like to grow for large institutions like schools or food banks, that there's funding out there, and there'll be opportunities soon to explore that in a real way. So Devin, do you have any sense of like if there are farmers in the NOFA New Jersey network that might be interested in those kinds of opportunities, or are already selling to schools perhaps?
They're definitely out there. I think one of the opportunities is for us to support our farms with increasing the scale of their operations to meet that demand and to get some of those monies. We got to get that money while it's here. If we don't make use of it, it won't come around again.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and the food bank, this is an opportunity. The federal government wants to be able to remove that barrier, and this funding is not, different states are doing this in different ways. So not every state is sending this money to food banks. Like many states have taken a totally different approach. This is just how it went down in New Jersey, and we did not have a say in that. We tried to, but this decision was made before we were able to voice our opinion. But anyhow, so this is what it is. The money is going to the food bank. And I think long term, like getting the food banks purchase, they have a huge amount of purchasing power. They feed, I forgot how many, like it's insane how much food they purchase. I got a tour of the warehouse in Hillside, New Jersey. It's unbelievably massive. There is an opportunity there. So this federal funding removes that barrier. So the food banks can't say, oh, it's too expensive. We can't purchase from local farms. So I guess the idea here is to see what are the barriers for both on the food bank side and on the farmer side, so that if we can remove those barriers in a pilot basis, like what does it look like long term to create that income stream or that revenue stream for farmers, if they're interested. Not every farmer is going to be interested, obviously, but for those that are, this is an opportunity now to figure out what are the barriers, how to overcome them, and build those relationships so that they can go on for many years to come.
Janine, can I ask you a question?
Sorry. Come on in. Oh, you just moved.
I see, Jared.
So this sounds very akin to what Food Shed Alliance and I'm forgetting the other name of the subsidiary of the Food Shed Alliance.
Local share.
Is this gonna, can you guys hear me okay? Is this gonna plug in to that? Is it redundant to that? Is it?
No, because Local Share is a gleaning organization where the farmers are not, as far as I know, the farmers are not paid for, the volunteers, and Callie, jump in if I'm mistaken here, but farmers that have excess or they're turning over a field and they need to, get rid of what's left, a variety of different reasons why farmers would invite volunteers in to glean their fields of still perfectly edible food. And they're not paid for that. They're just, they get the benefit of having someone help clear out their field and there's other benefits. But then that food is then taken to local food pantries. So a food bank it's very much like, if you just think of it from like a non-charity perspective, like, Amazon is the giant warehouse and then they bring products to your house. It's very similar. Like the food bank is the giant.
No, I hear you. I had a conversation with a woman named Tess Mullen from the Food Shed Alliance, who I think Devin knows as well. And it was my understanding from that conversation that they were working on a program to compensate farmers fairly.
They do compensate. They do compensate.
Yeah, so
Funding source for that, Callie.
Yeah, I'm sure that Christine Parada, who I work closely with, of course, has applied for grants, but our farmers do get compensated. Our larger farmers that do in fact donate are paid a stipend for their donations. I just want to add, and please, Jared, please go forward first, but I just went to a Sussex County Hunger Coalition event, and Mark Dingleson, who is the food security advocate now for the state of New Jersey. And I've also approached, again, as NOFA New Jersey, the chair or the director of New Jersey Community Food Bank, about integrating more organic food and produce and our products into community food banks. So I believe that we're talking about something very important. And Jared, please compliment again.
Thanks, Callie, for clarifying. So they're not connected, just to answer your question directly. Like what Local Share is doing to compensate farmers and gleaning is not connected to this. This wouldn't be a gleaning effort. This would be purchase orders, and in moving forward, it could even look like a grow a row program where in the winter, the food bank, which again, this is a huge institution. Like think of it as like, a giant, even bigger than a giant hospital in terms of how much food they procure. Like they could work out a relationship where they could say, okay, which New Jersey farmer wants to grow all of our leeks for the year, all of our cabbage for the year, all of our carrots for the year. And you could set aside, if you sign that MOU or you sign that contract in January, you could set aside a quarter of your acreage for just growing food explicitly for this customer, with delivery dates and all of that expected of you. So there'd be expectations on both sides. But the issue is, how many farmers out there are willing and able to meet those kinds of purchase requirements? Like they're purchasing large pallets worth of food, right? And not every farmer is going to want to do that. Not every farmer is going to want to have their total income made up of that type of revenue stream. So we're going to be helping the food bank explore, reach out to farmers, provide information so that we could see who's currently interested and capable and who's interested but not yet capable, and what will it take for them to get there? How long will that take? What resources and training do they need? Those kinds of things. But right now, there's funding through a different pot of money that went out to schools. So school districts, and you can see, I can send a link, I don't have it handy right now, of all the schools that are doing this. If there's a school district near you that's received some of this money, you could reach out directly to the school district and say, hey, I'm a local farmer. I know you have some of this local food for school money. Can we, get some of that? I don't know if you'd phrase it like that, but that's basically what, you'd be getting at. And that money's already in those school districts and they're ready to purchase now.
How long is this program going on for again? How long is this money good for?
Local food for schools, I think, is 2 years, and the local food purchase assistance, that link I can send you, that's a 3-year program. The first 2 years is for, I think, close to almost the whole 9.7 million is for purchasing food, but some of it is also for doing like the outreach and like gathering data and exploring.
Yeah, the scary part about that to me is converting acreage over to be committed to that kind of singular
and
production.
The funding goes away.
Well, it's not just that, it's I'm going to go lease or finance implements or a whole new tractor or start a training program to get someone ramped up to grow. I don't know how many acres of carrots someone would want, but we had a conversation with a restaurant group in the city, which is probably smaller than this, but they have 27 restaurants or so in the city and growing, high end to mid-range. And they were like, we love your carrots. We want you to grow all the carrots. And I was like, I grow on 1 acre. You're talking about hundreds of acres of carrots between cover cropping, rotational grazing, you know, putting stuff into management. That's crazy. So, you know, wanting to do it is one thing. And if someone has acreage lying around, that's another. But the biggest hurdle for me is, in my mind, just being able to commit to having the stability, like less than 10 or 15 years of commitment on something like this. The machinery might not yet be fully financed. I may be underwater before we're through this
So
contract.
these are all excellent points, and these are the kinds of things we're going to be documenting for, you know, so the funding went from the USDA to the Department of Agriculture in New Jersey. It was the Department of Agriculture that decided to send all the money to the food bank. So when we reach out, when we're hearing things like this, which we anticipate hearing a lot of that kind of sentiment, Jared, is that, you know, we'll be able to compile that information and provide that to the Department of Agriculture, so they know if you want to see this kind of thing happen long term, these are the kinds of issues that you're going to have to be able to be ready to address. And also, not, like I said at the beginning, we understand, and the United States government understands, that not every farmer who's interested is going to be able to make that happen. They don't necessarily have the acreage. But if you want to do it, what would it take for you to, like, capital wise, access to credit, whatever it is, a 15-year commitment? What would it take for you to be able to participate? So that's all valuable information for this longer term effort as well.
So at the risk of derailing a really good conversation here, I got a question for you, Janine. Can we set up a webinar at some point soon?
Yeah.
Maybe bring this to our community and have a more thoroughly fleshed out conversation, some feedback. I only say that because we're really kind of out of time
Well,
here.
I appreciate you letting me have the time. The answer is yes, but not until we get our subaward a partnership agreement with the food bank. So right now our name appeared on I sent you the link to the USDA website. Someone messaged that to me and said, did you know, like, you're identified on the USDA website as being a partner for this funding? And I was like, nope. They didn't, nobody told me that. So what are we doing? You know, so until we have something signed, you know, it's just
okay.
We could have a webinar eventually.
Janine, this is Callie. I really want to continue this in the sense of how we in fact change the threshold for participation to incentivize and encourage more participation on smaller and collective aggregation of organic and regenerative farmers within that system. Okay, that's the change. I don't want the Department of Agriculture just going in one direction, going to larger producers, and we in fact get lost in the sauce. So I appreciate, let's have another discussion.
Yeah. Okay, sure. And then also we're getting into, at some point soon, we're going to get a new Secretary of Ag. So that's a whole other conversation too. We've got to get on.
We shall see. This is
Callie, are you going to be in the candidate pool?
Lee,
Come on.
No, but this is an opportunity. A new secretary is a new opportunity, and this is time to get energized. Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's a great place to end, I think, Tony,
Yeah,
right? I
I'll
mean,
say. So yeah, and you know, as far as all of you already know, most of you, I should assume, know that anyone who's planting seeds right now, your mind is already in June. So in order for this to work, we need to get it ahead of time. So Janine had said January, signing the MOAs and whatnot, and that's exactly the case, you know. And so maybe Jared and Andrea and whoever else are exceptional at growing carrots, maybe the 3, 4, 5 of you all commit, you know, however many rows together, and that is a way that we can create a great impact. You'll get paid. Maybe you won't get paid full market price, but you know you're going to get paid a decent price, and you're gonna help a lot of people. So that's
guaranteed income. You don't have to worry about
a kick-ass option. But so as much as I want to keep talking to you all, and we are going to keep talking because that's the plan. We are a community that we're going to keep talking for years ahead. But for tonight, we got to start wrapping things up. However, I want to make a point that for anyone who hasn't already gone through the chat, go through the chat and start copying and pasting some of those links. There's some really important, great links in there. We're going to stall a little bit. We're going to roll one more video of something really awesome that we've been a part of. We're a part of so many awesome things, and I'm so happy and proud to be a part of all of you, because cumulatively we are creating positive ripples. But this next video, you tell them, I don't even know what it's about. I'm just like, wow, I love this. This is so cool.
That's what I love about you. I could just feed you things and you're like, awesome, let's go with it. So we made a short video. We have a grant project that we partnered on with our friends over at Newark Science and Sustainability. They've got some great programming. They're really trying to make a positive impact on the food system. So they got a beginning farmer and rancher development program grant, and working through all different kinds of coursework and materials to bring farming and entrepreneurship and food safety trainings to folks that feel like they want to have a future in farming and food. So first up was a farmers market training with Urban Ag Cooperative and Newark SAS, and we hung out and took some video and wanted to share the farmers market love with everybody. So before we send you off with this video, just want to say thank you for being with us. Tony, good to go. Awesome. Y'all are amazing. We do this for you, for our community, because we love you. Appreciate it.
Tell them we're going to try.
We're going to try again. We need that volume. Got it, Tony.
My name is Tobias Fox. I'm the founder and managing director of Newark Science and Sustainability, Inc. I'm also the founder and lead facilitator of the Newark Community Food System. And this year we're just having a kind of a wide range of training workshops around urban agriculture. Today we had the Farm to Market training program where we're learning about how we can actually take products that we grow in our gardens and urban farms and bring it to market. And so it was a fun-filled day, a lot of information, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the next steps are.
I'm Morgan Devine, and I am the urban conservationist with the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service here in New Jersey. And we're here today to just let people know about our technical and financial assistance for small and urban growers. We also can help with outreach and education and working with groups like the Urban Ag Cooperative and people like Tobias Fox and getting actual urban conservation on the ground and promoting our grants.
What's up, man? I'm John from Maha Granola, and one of the things that I appreciate most about doing the farmers markets is connecting with people and making those relationships, building those relationships.
Hi, I'm Emilio Panache. I'm here today at Greater Newark Conservancy, which is our home office, and with Urban Agriculture Cooperative. Today we had a farmers market training specifically for urban and new growers, and we had a great coalition of people who have been backyard farmers or small urban farmers, all the way up through people who run organizations that help farms and farmers markets. And it was awesome. We had a lot of great discussion. People made the connections that they need to make with others so that they can run their markets collaboratively. And we shared a lot of resources that I think people will take with them.
Together are doing amazing, awesome stuff here in all over in New Jersey. And just to close our meeting session with a moment of gratitude, every one of you that is on this call or Zoom or whatever you want to call it, you are making a positive impact. For anybody who's old enough and remembers how in the 90s you couldn't even buy soy milk in the grocery store, you had a special order of that shit. Now it's they're in droves. There's so many different types of alternative milks, not to knock milk. If you got good quality, well-raised dairy products, that's what we're after. But the point is we are making an impact. It may not feel like it tomorrow, but in a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, the work that we're doing now is going to impact the future. So just keep your drive up, keep doing what you're doing. And together we are going to make some positive movements. So thank you, everybody. All right, everybody copied all the stuff in the chat. Are you good to go? You got your things. We're going to see you at some of our awesome upcoming workshops. Of course, you know, the one I'm most excited about is on Tax Day at Noble Mushrooms, followed by some local brewery and pizza. What's better than pizza and beer? I don't know. Love. But all right. Thank you guys.
Check the calendar.
Thank you
guys.
Great
See
Thank
meeting.
you so much.
Great meeting.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Milk rant.
You close the party. Well, yeah.